This is my review of the Ratchet and Clank movie. And in my opinion, it was a pretty good, faithful adaptation of the game. Yes, I had to change some things, like how exactly the Ratchet and Clank meet. Like, oh, by the way, spoilers. Excuse the noise in the background, I'm playing a video game. So, for those of you who never played the game, this will contain spoilers. Or seen the movie. But, of course, it's about a robot and his Lombax friend who are working together to defeat a villain who's destroying all worlds. So we can make a new one. And basically, they think that the person who can help him is Captain Quark. Anyone who's played the game before knows that he's going to betray them, since this is an adaptation of the first game. Now, this is definitely a con. Why is it a con? Because for anyone who hasn't played the first game, might think that might agree with me when I say they should have kept Quark's inevitable betrayal a little more of a shock. Because honestly, that is kind of cheapens the experience. If I was writing it, I would definitely have kept it a secret for anyone who hasn't actually seen the movie. And I also didn't like how it made Chairman Drek into basically a much bigger villain's pawn. And I'll be getting into that later. But honestly, Chairman Drek was definitely dangerous in the first game. Here, he's basically a pawn and more of a comic relief villain. Well, and there's something. Yep, and this is the guy, Chairman Drek. Like I said, in the first game, in the first game, he was definitely the main villain and definitely a threat. So I'm not sure how. I don't really like how they made him into basically another villain's pawn. Again, it kind of cheapens the experience. Because honestly, Drek was the final boss, and I really felt like he should have been the guy that they ultimately needed to defeat in the end. And to be honest, making him a comic relief villain really doesn't work. And then there's Dr. Nefarious. Please excuse the IGN logo there. I had to get this from, well, long story, okay? Well, not really a long story, I just don't want to bother you with the details. But anyway, a lot of people didn't like how, at least when they first saw the trailers, they didn't like how Dr. Nefarious was going to be in the first movie of the game that's based off the first game. Because he didn't show up to the third game. And yes, he's the main villain. But when I saw, and at first I thought this was ridiculous too. But when I saw the movie, I'm like, that's so Dr. Nefarious. So yeah, I really didn't have a problem with him being the first movie. Not to mention, like, let's face it, we all know it's Dr. Nefarious. We know what he's going to do in the end. Because we know he doesn't work for other villains. And we know what's going to happen to him at the end of the movie, because for anyone who's played the third game, we know his origin story. And then there's Quark and his new team, who are a bunch of new characters. At least I think are new characters. Some of these might have been in some games I haven't played yet. I'm not sure, haven't played them all. And I saw others on YouTube. Because I don't have the console for that game, or at least didn't really bother to buy the game. We got Quark, who of course is the leader, and of course the guy who's inevitably going to betray them. Because we know this is again an adaptation of the first game. In the first game, he betrays them, so yeah, we already know what's going to happen. And as the others, well, to be honest, the other three aren't really worth mentioning. Like, the girl with the glasses is, of course, the nerd, who easily gets along with Clank, and of course feels underappreciated. As for the other two, they're just shoot-happy weirdos. Who, let's face it, just like Quark, just want to beat things up. I really can't really say much about them other than that. Now, how should I put this? The fact that we don't really see how they feel about Quark betraying them, again, they should have devoted more time to that. And plus, but what I did like is how Quark, when he of course betrays them, he of course feels bad about it. He doesn't immediately. He doesn't immediately is okay with being evil. Yep, he definitely feels bad, and he even made a deal with Drek not to hurt them. Of course, he lies. But honestly, I thought there should be more to them. Maybe in the sequels we'll get more with them, but until then, they're just the cliche characters. Well, one of them is the geek, and the other two are just shoot-happy guys. And I know for something I definitely did like in the movie. Oh yeah, characters is somewhere in the middle between pros and cons. You got some right, some wrong, you know. But here's definitely is a pro. The continuity. They did. Yeah, this definitely is a pro. The continuity. Sorry if I pause there. I'm having trouble with this word. The continuity. We see a bunch of characters throughout the game series in this movie, and I do like how they made that into a thing in this movie. In the franchise, we see a whole bunch of interesting characters, and pretty much try to shove many of them in a way that makes sense as possible. We see Juanita, who didn't show up until Ratchet Deadlock, replace Scarlet Ratch as the reporter. We see the president from the third game finally show up in the first movie, but he only gets a cameo. And yeah. So yeah, that's as much as I got. Now for some cons. And that's actually going to be a separate video because I don't see any more info here. Till next time, see ya.